Bill, there's a couple of nominees that, well, Susan Collins said she's not going to vote for the new nominee for the head of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. She says he's a radical that has been an outspoken critic of the firearms industry and has made statements that demean law-abiding gun owners. The people that he has nominated and is putting into these positions inside the administration, for instance, the woman that he has nominated for BLM land, she's going to oversee all of the use of the Bureau of Land Management, land. And I have to tell you, she believes children are, quote, an environmental hazard. We should only have one or two do the right thing for the planet. And she also has spoken out about cows grazing on public land. If she gets her way on that, there is no cattle rancher anymore. There's no food from cows because the ranchers can't afford to not use that public land. Your thoughts on these radicals?
Yeah, they're not going to get confirmed in the Senate. You know, the hearings will just blow them out of the water. But the second and most important thing is that I don't even believe Joe Biden knows who they are. He has no
I agree with that.
But, you know, they just put stuff in front of him, as we said in the first half hour, and he signs it. You know, we on BillO'Reilly.com, Beck, which you should be glued to, every day we lead with Biden's schedule, what he's got on his official schedule.
Right.
And very rarely does he have anything. So on Thursday of this week, yesterday, he goes to Raleigh, North Carolina on taxpayer expense, and he meets with people who are vaccinating other people. Why? Is this new? No. Why would he bother to go down there and meet with people who are giving out the vaccine? Why? There's never an answer. It's just ridiculous. So, you know, I think in the next 12 months, there's going to be an enormous backlash against the Biden administration. I think they're going to get their butts kicked in 2022.
Well, I would hope so. But this leads me to the question, you know, we both agree that Biden is not the architect behind this and that it is the Barack Obama administration. 90%, according to Barack Obama, 90% of those in the White House were with him in the White House. But when he was in the White House, I did an awful lot of research to find out who was writing all of these policies. And it was Center for American Progress. It was the Tides Foundation that was behind a lot of this stuff. Who is behind it now? Who is writing these bills and this policy?
Well, look, the pipeline is you've got Susan Rice, who is best friend to Michelle and Barack Obama. She's the top domestic advisor. Then you have the White House counsel, Ron Klain. Nobody knows anything about him. He's a shadowy kind of guy. He doesn't do the talk shows. You don't know where he is. So I would think it's Rice and Klain who are basically the architects of what the public hears coming out of the White House. There may be some other people in the shadows, but certainly those two people take their prompt from these far-left progressive groups. Now, is Barack Obama that crazy left? I have never seen that, but it's possible.
Right.
You know, he's changed. There's no doubt he's changed now that he's not president. Possible. Michelle Obama is. She is in that progressive crew where everything is skin color.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is skin color. Comes back to skin color no matter what it is. Vaccination, pollution, global warming. It's all skin color all the time. But it's very hard to speculate about the day-to-day activities because it's shrouded. You don't see, nobody sees. And believe me, the White House press corps is not going to tell you. Has there been one leak out of the Biden administration? One? How many leaks were there at Trump? 45,000? Yeah. Not one leak? Now, there have been leaks, but they're not printed. They're not reported. They're ignored. This is the giant blackout from the corporate and social media operations. It's a blackout. Beck, killing the mob has been number one for 7 weeks. 7 weeks.
Wow.
Not one word in any of the corporate media, on any of the cable stations, including Fox. No, it's a total news blackout. Now, the good news is that we don't need them anymore. You, me, other people, we run our own operations, and they reach millions of Americans. You don't need the Today Show. You don't need the late night shows. You don't. Look, Killing the Mob beat Oprah, Gladwell, Lewis, all of these people that were all over the corporate media pushing their books. So that's the good news. There's a tremendous shift away from dependency on the corporate people for information because there is no information. It's
okay.
out.
So help me out on as you call the people, the folks. Help me out on what they know and don't know, because I live in this bubble of conservative media, and the people I talk to generally know these stories, but then I'll go someplace and I'll just talk to regular people and they have no idea. So help me out on this. The president said this week that, you're going to need a nuke to be able to overthrow the government, and you're not going to be able to do it with your puny guns. Well, he's saying this at the same time he's saying our republic was in danger of being overthrown by an insurrection. So those two don't match. But also the story of how dangerous this thing was doesn't match the sentencing of the first person to be tried in the Capitol riot, an Indiana grandmother, Anna Morgan Lloyd. This year, she got 40 hours of community service and a $500 fine for parading. Now, if that was out everywhere, people would be mocking the president and Nancy Pelosi and everyone else about this, this January 6th nonsense. Do they know this?
No, there's a big gap of knowledge among the regular folks who aren't glued to the internet political sites or talk radio. All they get drifts in. Okay?
Right.
Go ahead.
So how do we bridge that gap? Because that's a cultural gap. These are the people that only pay attention to the culture.
I covered the story. You covered the story about the grandmother because it's interesting.
Right.
And she, by the way, admitted her culpability, which was one of the reasons she was harshly punished. But the corporate media is so corrupt. There was a poll this week. I don't know whether you saw it. Worldwide poll. Do you trust the media in your country? Now, Finland came out on top. I think it was 82% of people in Finland, and there are only like 33 people in Finland. It's very, very chilly there. They were the top. They trust their media because there are 6 media, and they know them. They know Olaf and Lars. They know them. But in America, it was the lowest in the whole world. 29% of the American people trust the media. 29%. Now, even the dimmest of us knows we're being conned. I mean, but there's nothing we can do about it because Disney and Comcast and all of these companies are so powerful that they can just continue this corruption and you just can't dent it.
So how do we stop and correct things? Like right now, the White House is saying that it was the Republicans, not the Democrats, that tried to defund the police. And they can say these things because they know no one will hold them accountable. And to those people who are just drifting, they'll buy into that.
Nah, I disagree. I don't think anybody believes that. I mean, other than, George Soros.
Good.
But the mass of people who are making a living, honest people, trying to do the best they can for their families, they're not going to buy that. But here's an interesting point. Because CNN and MSNBC and all of those corrupt agencies put that out, they continue to hemorrhage viewers. They continue to lose viewers. And the crazy left newspapers, the Chicago Tribune, did you see that story? Once the most powerful newspaper outside of New York, the Chicago Tribune, laid up 36 people, including John Cass, their main columnist. It's over. And the Chicago Sun-Times already not printing. So the folks have said, we know it's corrupt. We're not going to participate in it. I mean, CNN, they don't even do 1 million viewers for any of their shows, Beck. You should go back on CNN. You do 2 million.
I know I would, even with their audience.